What's up, guys? Welcome back. We are jumping into the puck. So this is a $12 tournament. It's a 3-entry max, $200,000 prize pool, $40,000 to first, and so on and so forth. Advancement structures: 2 out of 12, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 5, and 124 seat final in week 17. So we did get the 12 spot, which is fine. We're gonna get these dice, some smattering of these dice. Don't have a ton of walk this year, but we're looking at this range of guys, which is totally fine. In the 12 spot, if Jefferson or Lambert fall, I'll take one of them. I do want one of the receivers if I can get them, but they probably won't. With this being a 3-entry max, and you see it right here with Chase Doan above Bijan, you get a little more incentivized to shoot your shot and call your shot. When you're drafting dozens of teams in some of these other formats, Best Ball Mania, etc., the puppy, right? Then you're more incentivized actually to diversify, especially in the early rounds, based on your ADP and your draft spot, because you want to build a portfolio that's comprehensive and diversified. Whereas in a 3-entry max tournament, again, you're really called upon to try to shoot your shot. And these are half-point PPR, right? So important to note that. Half-point PPR, and you do start 3 wide receivers. So that being said, unless CeeDee Lamb or Jefferson wheel, I'm not going to pull up an A.J. Brown or Drake London. I guess I could pull a Bowers way up down here. I think he's in for a monster year, and I would maybe get a unique pairing in that respect. So let's see. I am a Buffalo Bills fan, so I'm super high on James Cook. But even if I wasn't a Bills fan, James Cook is just amazing. Okay, let's hope he passes CeeDee Lamb here. Man, Cook and Lamb go. You know what? Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to take Brock Bowers here, and then we're going to take, of these guys, I like Amari and Hampton the best. So we're going to take that. And maybe Bowers Hampton isn't a super unique pairing, but both of them typically go in the second round, so I can't imagine there's a ton of Amari and Hampton, Brock Bowers teams. And if both these guys play to their upside this year, we'll be looking at a good shakeout here. Chance to win that 40K. Now, that being said, I think, again, if you're doing this traditionally, you probably stack 2 running backs here, and that's fine. But what we'll probably look to do is grab a wide receiver and a running back in the 3-4 turn. And the reason I say that is there should still be very good running back value. You guys, if you watch me, know I have a ton of Cam Stadaboo, and he may be available down here, or Javonte Williams or one of those guys. I'm very high on Javonte Williams this year. I've got Javonte Williams ahead of that next tier of guys after Derrick Henry, right? So I have him ahead of Kyron Williams. I have him ahead of Travis Etienne. I have him ahead of Jeremiah Love. I think Javonte Williams has a very high likelihood of producing a top 10 running back season. So I still have Achane in this tier. Henry's the bottom of this tier for me, but I have Javonte Williams starting that next tier of guys, which typically begin going off here at the beginning of the third. And again, it's this tier of running backs right here. This Jeremiah Love, Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, Travis Etienne. I have Javonte Williams at the top of the pile. I have Kyron Williams behind him, Travis Etienne behind him, Breece Hall, then Jeremiah Love. But I think it's completely reasonable to say that Cam Stadaboo also could have a, maybe not top 10, but maybe a top 12. And if everything fell correctly, I could also see him having a top 10 running back season as well. And these are representative right here, right, of basically your top 10. There's 11 of them, but, your top 10. So which one of these guys would not crack a top 10? So if Stadaboo or Javonte Williams both were to make it in, I could see Achane potentially not cracking top 10 given his offense this year. I could see Derrick Henry finally, after years and years of us saying this, not achieve a top 10 season. I could see Kenneth Walker not achieve a top 10 season. And so, yeah, you could see Cam Stadaboo or Javonte Williams sneak into that spot. So both in better offenses than Miami, that's for sure. Okay, so the 2-3 turn goes London, Pickens, Collins, Smith, Hall, and Love go coming back this way. Then Olave, Higgins, Flowers, and Buka. So the team from 5 opts to lean into Amon-Ra, Rashee Rice, T. Higgins. It's a nice stack of receivers there. The Jefferson player then goes Barkley, Tyron Williams. Tyron Williams at 33 is amazing value, and I think we're going to get, you know, we could get two of our guys here. So we actually could get two running backs in this area, but then we'd probably be behind on receivers. So I'm going to take Javonte Williams for sure. We could take Josh Allen. We could also take another one of the running backs. I think I'm keen for another one of the running backs, and I think I'm going to take Travis Etienne here. Malik Neighbors and Tedero McMillan are both phenomenal, but we passed for Bowers up here. And if you look at Hampton Williams Etienne as a phenomenal running back start, we can now ignore this position for a while, and we're basically only on receiver, and our tight ends are obviously already solved for. So the other argument was taking Allen here and just having the best quarterback off the board, the best tight end off the board, and two very good running backs, and just being happy to have positional advantage in two spots. But I think we're going to have good access to quarterbacks later that I like a lot. Not more than Allen, certainly not. Not in real life or in fantasy, but really good, really good. Right, like even if we wanted to prioritize looking at quarterback the next turn, Drake May and Jaden Daniels could still be on the board. And then for us, if we wait till 84, 85, you're still looking at guys like Trevor Lawrence and Patrick Mahomes, right? So we'll probably, because this round right here, round 6 turns into no man's land of players, and you see a ton of quarterbacks come off. It's not uncommon to see, right, like May and Daniels and Williams and maybe to a lesser degree Prescott come off in this run. So we'll kind of have our option and opportunity here should we want to take one. And if not, again, we could just play ball with what's left over at the next turn, which could be a smattering of Justin Herbert typically doesn't fall that far, but Jackson Dart is in that range. Brock Purdy's in that range, and I like both of them. So we could double tap receiver here and then double tap quarterback after that, and potentially be okay. But we'll see how the draft plays out. So after Allen goes, you've got Montgomery, Stadabu, Wilson, Jacobs, McMillan, Loveland, Waddle, Neighbors, Evans, Burden. Neighbors at the end of the fourth is insane value. He would have been one of my considerations up here, and I do want Neighbors on one of these teams if I only get 3 shots in this tournament, but that's a great value. So Bijan Robinson gets Jeremiah Love, London, Neighbors, and Williams. This is a 6 stack. Not super in love with Love, but when you have Bijan, it doesn't really matter, and you get London, Neighbors, Williams, who all have, London Neighbors could easily, if Neighbors can get healthy quickly and play to his potential, could easily both be top 5 wide receivers this year, and Williams, I think his ceiling's top 10. So the Jamar Chase player gets Pickens, Evans, and then follows up with Hall and Henderson. Don't love that team as much. Like Gibbs and Swift with Collins, Devontae Smith, and Burden here. Like that stack a lot as well. So if we do want to grab wide receiver, we still have a stack of options here. And I think that these guys are considerably better than the next tier of wide receivers. And since we can take 2 of them, I am pretty interested in taking 2. Had I known Jadarian Price would be here, I think grabbing Josh Allen would have been great. But it's like, what smattering of these guys do we want? I think we'll grab Carnell Tate. I think that's a pretty easy jam here. And then we have a ton of Rome Odunze. Do we want Odunze or Tyson? If we grab Tyson, we could look to stack him with Shuck later, but I am not a Burden believer. I am a Chicago Bears are going to have an elite offense believer. And because I believe that they're going to have an elite offense, I'm kind of in for all the pieces. Okay, so if Burden becomes their number 1, Rome could have a very healthy wide receiver 2 diet, right? Like you could say, oh, well, Colston Loveland's going to get his share of targets as well. Yep. All those passing attempts got to go somewhere. And before Odunze got hurt last year, you wanted him on your fantasy team. So, yeah, you could say, well, there's probably not as high a likelihood of him having even close to that season. But this is best ball. So if we're going to start our wide receiver room in round 5, then what I'm kind of looking to do in rounds 5 through 9 is grab as close to 4 or 5 of the same guy that I possibly can. Now, we're going to take probably a quarterback in here, but as close to that smattering of guys as I possibly can. And remember, the big difference here is that we do have a blue chip piece in Bowers. Now, when it cuts back here to 84, 85, we're going to be looking at, I would take if Prescott, well, I keep saying that they're going off the board. If Prescott or Herbert were to fall, I take them. Williams won't fall, but I would take him too. I guess we will include him. I would take him. But I don't love Lawrence and Mahomes enough. I actually like Purdy above Lawrence and Mahomes. And then again, we could wait to the next turn and grab Matthew Stafford and Jackson Dart and just be totally okay, or Jared Goff later on the next turn. So we'll take a look at the positional value that is available down here, but we're not locked into taking quarterback. But maybe we do. Maybe we take a quarterback and a wide receiver. I am gonna stay away from running back for a little while to catch our wide receiver room up. But look at this team right here: Taylor, Walker, McBride. Then they get Garrett Wilson, Adams, and Parker Washington. Now, yeah, this trio of wide receivers is not as strong as Team 5. It's not as strong as Team 1. It's not as strong as Team 2. But it's a pretty good set of wide receivers. So now, if they keep on the wide receiver train, they can catch up in depth-wise while these teams are grabbing depth at other positions. So we kind of just traded there. And I'm cool with that. Two of these guys are going to be very, very good options. One of these guys will also make my flex some percentage of the time. So yeah, we're good with that. And okay, Prescott and Herbert may both make it back here because we have Daniels and Allen here. If that happens, I am taking one of them. Who's got the stacking options later? It's more Herbert, right? Because then we can maybe look to see for Quentin Johnson, but I don't think we're on ADP for that necessarily. So I do want one of these receiving threats here. So I'll probably go quarterback, wide receiver. All right. I'm going to go with Herbert, given that we have Hampton, trying to buy into that offense a little bit. And then of Sutton, Reed, Godwin, Addison, Downs. Is it weird to say that I'm highest on Addison here? I mean, I like them all. I think Godwin could be good too. You know what? Let's grab Godwin. It's a little bit of a shakeup, but the reason I grabbed Godwin is because, well, Kyler Murray still probably won't make it back to us. This puts Baker Mayfield in the discussion later, which is great. And then with Colonel Tate, we also have Cam Ward in the discussion later, which is great. And then even a Fernando Mendoza right at the end if we want. So, okay, so far, our team is Justin Herbert, quarterback, Amari Hampton, Javonte Williams, Travis Etienne at running back, Carnell Tate, Rome Odunze, Chris Godwin at wide receiver, and obviously Brock Bowers sitting in the tight end spot. And yes, this is a suboptimal draft ADP-wise. But remember, you only get 3 entries into this tournament. So because of that, I'd rather be a little less diversified and a little more unique in at least a couple. I mean, one of the 3, sure, we can just sit in the lobby and draft at ADP and kind of go that route. But I will say, after having done dozens of these so far, and this is my first season where I'm actively engaging a platform like this, I do play redraft leagues. I actually commissioner of 2 redraft leagues, but I haven't gotten into best ball before this year. But I've watched it plenty. I do tend to like having a balanced build through 2. Having a wide receiver and a running back, if you can get it. Now, of course, we didn't get the value down here. Lamb, Jefferson, Njigba, Brown, Nakua, Chase all went before we got that option. But having a wide receiver and running back through 2 just allows you to be so much more flexible in the coming rounds and lean into either your preference of player or the better player, right? The ADP better player, rather than saying, hey, I need wide receivers now. Right, we're firmly in, we need wide receivers. And when you put yourself in a position in these drafts where you need a position, you obviously do not have the flexibility of deciding between running back and wide receiver when the value presents itself at running back or a tight end or a quarterback. So you do handcuff yourself a little bit by being aggressive in one position. In this instance, yes, we didn't double tap running back at the beginning of the draft, but we did double tap running back at the 3-4 turn. And for example, if we take a Garrett Wilson here, if you guys watch me, you know that would never have happened. But let's say we take a Tet, or we take an Allen even. Then, well, even Allen wouldn't help, but we'd be a lot more flexible through here, right? Jadarian Price fell down here. I would have taken Jadarian Price over Odunze, and now we have 2 of our wide receivers are a tier above where our wide receiver room starts. So I think there's definitely efficacy in stacking running back early in these drafts, but how much better is ETN than Stadabu or Montgomery or Jacobs, right? this whole group didn't make it back to us, but yeah, ETN's going to be better than Price, but how much better? Okay, Michael Wilson and Jacoby Myers are still on the board. There's also Kyle Pitts, who I'm very high on this year. There's also Jared Goff, Kyler Murray, Jordan Love. We're looking at potentially grabbing a Baker Mayfield, and that's 118. I'm also high on Shug this year, so if we want to grab him, we're going to have to grab him in here. But I'm not going to just reach for the stack. I guess I would look at who the highest rated quarterback is if we're going to take one here, which I'm thinking we are, and just be done at quarterback, take a receiver. And so that's Goff. There's also Murray and Jordan Love, but I'm just going to take Jared Goff, pin him in there. And then I guess of these wide receivers, Concepcion Shakir, I guess we'll just grab Jacoby Myers. There's a world where he gets a lot of looks and had good weekly upside, which is what you want in these best ball drafts. So now our team is Justin Herbert, Jared Goff. We're going to be done at quarterback unless we sneak in a Mendoza in the very last round or something like that. Omari Hampton, Javonte Williams, Travis Etienne, Carnell Tate, Adunze, Godwin, Jacoby Myers, and of course Brock Bowers. So we're going to want another tight end at least. Yeah, we'll probably grab one more. If we look to grab a tight end that is kind of like, you can say maybe Dallas Goedert, but realistically more like lightly and above. If we grab one of these guys, and I don't like Kelsey at all, but if we grab one of these guys, um, we're pretty good and don't need to really even think about grabbing a third. And I kind of want to be in that position, so we can stack up wide receivers and running backs at the end. We will probably grab 5 running backs after getting this running back room here, and then just get one more tight end, and then the rest receivers will be the probable build. So if we go tight end down here when it gets back to us at 132, um, we can grab a wide receiver or a running back. We're going to get enough wide receivers that room is going to be wide. And the draft, the ADP that we're at down here is 132, 133. So if you look at the wide receivers in that range, you're looking at Coker, Shaheed, Diggs, Hunter, maybe Concepcion Falls, but probably not. Omar, McMillan, Naylor, these guys. These are the guys you're looking at. So nobody's super exciting, which is why if one of the tight ends that leaves us in that kind of last tier of tight ends that have a good weekly upside, there's also a world where we could snap off a Michael Mayer super late in the draft, um, right? So, but we'll see. So this team that went Brown, St. Brown, Rice, Higgins, Loveland, then got Tootin, Quentin Johnson, Hubbard, Dobbins, and Brooks. Gets Shark and Willis. It's pretty good. Caleb Williams, Brock Purdy takes Jordan Love as well. That seems a little aggressive. They've got Gibbs, Swift, and Warren, Collins, Devontae Smith, and Burden and Golden. Okay. The Chase player rather got Pickens and Evans, Hall, Henderson, Pollard, Burrow, and Dart. So they've got Chase stacked with Burrow. That's pretty good. And Dart stacked with nobody. All right, we are on the clock. Yeah, I'm going to take Likely here. And Casey Concepcion, he made it down to us. Feeling really good about that. Feeling really good about that. Like, that is an awesome fall. That is an awesome fall. Yeah, that's a great fall. So we picked him up. His ADP is like 119, and we picked him up at 131 or 132. That's wild work. That really fits in nicely with this wide receiver room. I think our wide receiver room is our biggest opportunity. But we're already done at running back. We're already done at tight end. We're done at quarterback. We need 2 more running backs, and then, I mean, we're just going to have 8 wide receivers and 8 wide receivers. Yeah, so we should be pretty good, or even 9, right? 2 is 4, and 5 makes 9. So that'd be 9 wide receivers. So we'll see. Maybe we go up to 6 running backs. But the nice part about it, having two of these um, 2 of these quarterbacks and 2 of these tight ends, it puts you in position to really load up at the others. So, all right. After we do Likely Concepcion, we see Tracy, Goddard, Rodriguez, Diggs, McMillan, Ward, Darnold, Stroud all go off the board. How are we in bye weeks? We're pretty nicely distributed. That feels good. We really don't have any stacks. I will say I tend to really prioritize stacks, and that did not work out for us here. We have the correlation of Herbert and Hampton, and depending on how McDaniel schemes that offense, there could be a little bit of quote unquote stacking there, but I just, not really. Nothing to count on. So that is maybe the one downfall of this team. That and our wide receiver room is in this draft probably. Uh, yeah, our wide receiver room is C tier. Our wide receiver room is C tier for sure. It's maybe not one of the better drafts, but that's okay. It is unique and it is yeah, I think if we make Allen and potentially put Allen here, it doesn't change our construction. However, if we don't go ETN and we go receiver and we start our room with a Neighbors, Evans, or Burden, potentially our receiver room looks completely transformed and we still have a good set of running backs. So, all good. Here, of all these guys, think Tyler Algier is going to play the biggest role. So, we're going to go ahead and grab him. Um, I don't want to overload at Cleveland receivers, but yeah, we're gonna pull up Algier and we'll grab one of the wide receivers, Naylor versus Juwan Jennings. Just grab Jennings. That's fine. Totally fine. Okay, so now we're sitting on four running backs and six wide receivers. Yeah, maybe we'll do 6-8. We'll do a 2-6-8-2. Um, cool. All right, so we'll be drafting again at 180, 181. We go down to ADP and look at what that looks like. You're looking at Kamara, Malik Washington, Sean Tucker. I have a ton of Sean Tucker this year. Jeremy Bernard, um, Calvin Ridley. I'm not taking Calvin Ridley. I have zero exposure to Calvin Ridley, and I am going to end. I would think I end my best board portfolio before the start of the season at 0% Calvin Ridley. So, all right. Again, I love our quarterbacks. I love our uh, tight ends. I love our running back room. Our wide receiver room is going to be. This is this season most likely. If our team was going to be a 40 grand team, this would be the round robin of who makes it in each week. I could see all these guys just kind of rotating through spike weeks. Hopefully, they don't come in the same weeks, and that's how we get there. Um, that's it, basically. So here, I like Tank Bigsby on the team. I like Dylan Sampson on the team. Adonai Mitchell is fine. Obviously, I think like who's better? Who's going to score more points? AJ Burner or Adonai Mitchell this year? And like, do you just take the third tight end in that respect because these guys? Look, Gunnar Helms projected for 180. Adonai Mitchell's projected for 171. Like, excuse me, that was ADP. Adonai Mitchell's projected for 80. Gunnar Helm's projected for 94. Like, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, just jam another tight end, I suppose. They could wind up in your flex spot. But we do need to start three wide receivers. That's why continuing to flesh out that room is important. But of all the value in here, this is where the tight ends are. Like, this is the great value here. Hawkinson's projected at 103. Like, Barner's projected at 113. Barner goes there, but like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know about Kamara. Maybe we'd grab Kamara in case he did some of that backfield work. Don't love that pick. I actually kind of prefer Sean Tucker. Yeah, I think we're taking Tucker there. And I like Zachariah Branch. I think he could have a good year. So we'll kind of do that. Again, we're going to pass on the tight ends. I'm just saying they are a better value in this range. So I'm happy to grab Branch and Tucker here. I just don't really want. Oh, Branch goes. That's thanks. All right, we'll grab Sean Tucker. I've got a ton of Bernard. I don't have a ton of Washington. I'm not going to reach on Dontavian Wicks. You know what? Let's grab Debo Samuel. I don't know where he's playing this year, but if we're going to have a wide receiver room that has 8 or 9 wide receivers, that's where you can afford to carry a Debo Samuel. Because it doesn't completely kill you if he's a nothing burger. So we have 2 picks left. I think we're going to grab one more wide receiver and one more running back, or maybe two more wide receivers. We'll kind of see how that goes. Our last 2 picks, and it'll be 204, 205. So this is really shoot your shotville. Um, you gotta have all these guys down here, like for sure. Uh, you know, when I have been drafting Bowers, I have been looking to include Michael Mayer because he's so freaking good, and I could see that a two tight end situation in Las Vegas this year. I don't think I'm going to pull him up. Just depends on what's on the board. Sometimes I take him when I take Bowers. So I just it just depends on who we got here. There's still Marshawn Lloyd. If Marshawn Lloyd makes it down to us, there's no way I'm not taking him. He would be great in this room. He's a name I'm taking a ton. You got to make it down a whole round though, and he does. Oh, what? Yeah, there he goes. There, he does. Oh, consider higher than that. Um, Not super high in Jaden Blue this year. Because I'm super high in Javonte Williams. Singleton, I could see being meaningful this year. Jordan James, George Alani. Let me go here. Just want to kind of stand this. Ray Davis obviously already went. He's somebody I'm pretty high on this year. Just as like a premium late option. I guess Jordan James can go in the same similar like Nick Singleton territory, and Kimoni Vidal. Actually, given that we have Hampton, Vidal would be a nice pickup here as well. I think so. I don't think we'll look to grab Mayer, knowing that there's at least one of these guys. And then wide receiver wise, Tank Dell's okay. That's fine. Are there any late stacking options we have here? I don't think there are anybody that we necessarily want to target down here. Um, we already took Deebo Samuel. I'm not taking any other unrostered guys. I love that Keenan Allen is above some folks who are playing. Giddens is another one this year who could be a really interesting handcuff. Yeah, I don't think any of these guys down here are worth looking at. I think it's just kind of like who's up here. Mooney could be good. So let's say Kimoni Vidal, and let's grab our eighth receiver, and we will just take Darnell Mooney and be good. All right. Final team: Justin Herbert, Goff, Omarion Hampton, Williams, Etienne, Algier, Tucker, and Vidal at running back. Tate, Adunze, Godwin, Myers, Concepcion, Juwan Jennings, Deebo Samuel, Darnell Mooney at wide receiver, and Bowers and Likely at tight end. I will say, I don't love the construction. Yeah, we pulled Bowers up. It's not even that. If we made some different decisions positionally in here, I think we elevate our wide receiver room without jeopardizing our running back room, right? If you take this running back stack and you put Jadarian Price in over Travis Etienne, it's still the basic stack. It's still basically the same stack. But if you add one of those receivers to a room that then gets Carnell Tate and Rome Odunze later, or at least Carnell Tate, but also has, again, I don't know. I wouldn't have taken Wilson, but you have Ted, Waddle. Oh, I wouldn't have taken Waddle either. Neighbors, Evans, Burden, Williams, one of those guys starting, which it would probably have been McMillan, would have been my pick. I feel a lot better about the wide receiver room. All in all, though, not a bad draft. We're going to shoot all three shots at this tournament. So thanks for checking out the channel. Thanks for checking out the vid. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like and subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one, which will be our second bullet in this tournament. Thanks.